Hello everybody, my name's Isaiah Rivera. I have tested an official 50.5 inch vertical, which is a world record, and today I'm going to be taking you guys through one of the workouts that I am doing this month so I can test hopefully even higher. Now, it may look like I am doing absolutely nothing here, but I actually am doing something. I'm actually pressing into the ground with my left leg. This is called an isometric, and the entire objective of it is to get my knees healthy, and specifically for this workout, it's to get them warmed up. If you don't know what an isometric is, it's when your muscle undergoes muscular tension without changing in length. Iso means same, and metric means length, I believe. You can fact check me on that. But yeah, very good workout. I hold it for 45 seconds. In this workout, I did 5 sets of 45 seconds before going into the next part of the workout, which is my dynamic flexibility. Dynamic flexibility is really easy. You don't want to do static flexibility before training because it can decrease force output a little bit. There are some benefits to doing static flexibility if you are extremely immobile and you can't reach the positions you need to, like in a squat or a lunge or that type of thing. But yeah, this is my dynamic flexibility. These two warm-up movements are a staple before any time I do any kind of high-intensity work with my knees, because they get the patellar tendon very warmed up, and that's essentially the entire objective of what I'm doing here. For me specifically, it's actually not the patellar tendon that gives me issues. I haven't had debilitating knee pain in years. It's actually the insertion of the quad at the greater trochanter that's on the left hip, and it responds very similar to knee pain. It's also a tendon, which means it's also tendinopathy, but that's the reason I do a lot of isometric and that type of thing before I train. Now, as I warm up, I'm going to go over what the point of this training cycle is. Now, if you don't know what a force velocity curve, it's a graph that shows the relationship between force and velocity in a specific movement. And over the course of a training year, we call that a macrocycle. I usually do 2 microcycles, and I usually want to peak one time sometime in the winter months, and then I peak another time in the summer months. And within a macrocycle, that can be broken up into different mesocycles. And a mesocycle is usually 1 month, and it has a specific focus. At THP, the type of periodization that we use, there's usually 1 or 2 specific focuses, and then we maintain other qualities at lower volumes just to maintain that quality. And traditionally, with periodization, certain types of training have had certain types of training, like max strength cycle or power cycle or elastic cycle, but we've kind of moved away from that, and we literally just range cycles. They can either be more specific or more general, and the point of the general stuff is to train you to train so that you can handle the more specific stuff later on without getting hurt. The specific stuff is what allows you to improve. It's the thing that has the most carryover to your training, hence the term specific, right? Specific trainings induce specific adaptations. And the general stuff is literally just to increase your potential to act, and then you can actualize that potential in later cycles. So the mesocycle that I'm in right now is highly specific. The reason being is it's getting very close to my competition, which is my competition time of the year, which is the summer. So yeah, we're getting very specific. I basically just trained over the last couple months, did some hellish training cycles, focused on hypertrophy work, isometric work, max strength work. And now the point of this cycle is to get a supramaximal eccentric overload. So let's break that word a little bit. Supramaximal just means higher than your max. So if my max is 100% in a back squat, let's say it's a deep back squat, which is 405 for me, a supramaximal load would be anything that is above 405 pounds. The next word in that phrase was eccentric. Here, let's take the power clean, for example. The eccentric part of the lift is when I am catching the bar. So anytime that bar hits my chest or my shoulders, I'm getting a very, very high eccentric load. Now, with how we're going to be overloading this cycle on my Monday workouts, I'm doing an eccentric focused power clean. It's not shown in this workout. This workout I just built up to my heaviest single that I could. But on my Monday workout, I'm jumping and then catching the power clean. Since I'm jumping, I'm using gravity to get higher eccentric peak forces when the bar hits me. Now, this workout, remember, we maintain qualities at lower volumes. So this workout, I believe I built up to 295. Yeah, this is a 295 power clean right here. And the reason being is I still want to get a max strength stimulus. Power cleans are a little bit more of RFD, but I did the same with front squats later on. Here, I attempted 305. As you can see here, I am catching deep. It was actually a mistake on my part. Something that is a very common issue for me in power cleans is as I'm warming up, right, the weights are lighter, you don't have to dip low to catch it. So I usually catch it standing completely straight up. And then the bar isn't heavy enough for me to start lowering on the catch until around 275. So I go from essentially doing clean pulls only, deadlifts essentially from the floor, to my first rep of a front squat is at 275. And it's accelerating me downwards, right? It's more RFD because the bar is not just 275, it's also accelerating down. So I'm doing a no warm-up 275 squat, which is very tough on my legs. So what I did this workout, here I tried, I believe it was 390. I was trying to PR my squat. So I was doing deep catches on the power cleans, and it just grooved that motor pattern of catching deep. And by the time the weights got heavy, I was just used to doing full cleans. So I have to find a middle ground, not do deep cleans or deep front squats on the catches, and just catch on that halfway mark. Now here is the bread and butter of the workout. This is basically what I was warming up the whole time to do. I am loading the bar up here with 440 pounds. My all-time front squat max is 385 pounds for reference. So I'm loading the bar up with 445, lowering it as slow as possible, focusing on staying upright, not bending over, not letting my shoulders round, just putting all the emphasis in my legs, and then just fighting the weight. In my head, I'm thinking doing isometric. As you can see here, it lowered down pretty fast because the weight is so heavy. Now, this type of training has always been one of the strongest stimuli that I've ever had for jumping. Every time I do this type of training, about a month later, I'm hitting the highest jumps of my life. So yeah, some very, very, very potent stuff here. Again, I would only recommend this type of training if you've done the general work before. The reason I do the very general stuff, I'm looking at on that force velocity curve, is so I can handle this type of training without getting hurt. And not listed because my camera kept overheating, I also do Supramaximal eccentric overloads with Nordic hamstring curls. A Nordic hamstring curl in of itself is already a Supramaximal eccentric load, because most people can't do the concentric portion of the Nordic hamstring curl. So I was literally just fighting it, doing the eccentric as slowly as possible, aiding myself on the way up. And then I do the same thing here on the seated calf raise. So I am going up with two legs and then emphasizing one leg, which you can't really see here, but I have most of the weight on just one leg, lowering it as slowly as I can. But that is it for the workout, everybody. If you want to jump higher, go to THPstrength.com. Use the code THP to get 10% off of your first month. And I'll catch you guys in the podcast later today. Peace out.